Today our topic is the Stoic view on facing your fears. Fear is something everyone feels. It is a natural part of being human. But fear can also stop us from living fully. It can hold us back, make us doubt ourselves, and keep us from reaching our goals. The Stoics, who were ancient philosophers, had a lot to say about fear. They believed that fear is not something to run away from, but something to face with courage and wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that fear is often based on things we cannot control, and the key to overcoming fear is to focus on what we can control. Let me explain this idea in more detail. First, let's talk about what fear is. Fear is an emotion that comes up when we think something bad might happen. It could be fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of losing something, or even fear of the unknown. These fears can feel very real and powerful. But the Stoics believed that fear is not as powerful as it seems. They taught that fear is often based on our imagination, not on reality. We imagine the worst-case scenario, and that makes us afraid. But the truth is, the worst-case scenario rarely happens. And even if it does, we are often stronger than we think. The Stoics believe that by facing our fears, we can see that they are not as scary as they seem. One of the most important Stoic ideas is the difference between what we can control and what we cannot control. This is called the dichotomy of control. The Stoics believe that many of our fears come from trying to control things that are outside of our power. For example, we cannot control what other people think of us, or whether we will succeed or fail in a certain situation. But we can control how we respond to these things. We can control our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. By focusing on what we can control, we can reduce our fears and live more peacefully. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are afraid of speaking in public. This is a common fear for many people. The Stoic approach to this fear would be to ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? You cannot control how the audience will react to your speech. They might love it or they might not. But you can control how well you prepare for the speech. You can practice, learn your material, and focus on delivering it as best as you can. By focusing on what you can control, you shift your attention away from the fear and toward action. This makes the fear less powerful. Another important Stoic idea is that fear often comes from our attachment to things. We fear losing what we have, or not getting what we want. But the Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. They taught that we should not be too attached to material possessions, status, or even other people's opinions. When we let go of these attachments, we become freer and less afraid. This does not mean we should not care about anything. It means we should not let our happiness depend on things we cannot control. The Stoics also believed that facing our fears is a way to grow stronger. They saw fear as an opportunity to practice courage and resilience. Every time we face a fear, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling difficult situations. This builds confidence and makes us stronger for the next challenge. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This means that facing our fears is like exercise for the mind. It makes us mentally stronger and more resilient. So how can we apply these Stoic ideas to our lives? Here are some practical steps. First, when you feel afraid, take a moment to think about what is causing the fear. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? If it is not, try to let it go. Focus on what you can control instead. Second, remind yourself that fear is often based on imagination, not reality. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And if it did happen, could I handle it? Most of the time, you will realize that you are stronger than you think. Third, practice gratitude. The Stoics believe that gratitude helps us appreciate what we have and reduces our fear of losing it. Take time each day to think about the things you are grateful for. This will help you feel more content and less afraid. Finally, remember that facing your fears is a process. It takes time and practice. You will not overcome all your fears overnight, but every small step counts. The more you practice facing your fears, the easier it will become. The Stoics believe that life is not about avoiding difficulties, but about learning to deal with them in a wise and courageous way. By facing your fears, you are not only overcoming them, but you are also becoming a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. In conclusion, the Stoic view on facing your fears is about understanding what you can control and what you cannot control. It is about focusing on your thoughts and actions, rather than worrying about things outside of your power. It is about seeing fear as an opportunity to grow stronger and more courageous. And it is about practicing gratitude and letting go of attachments that make us afraid. By following these Stoic principles, you can face your fears with confidence and live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Remember, fear is not your enemy. It is a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. And with the wisdom of Stoicism, you can turn your fears into opportunities for growth and strength.